Right, guys, we're back. It's been a while. Phil and I
Yes,
have been pretty busy, huh? The past few
we have
months,
been.
and
But
also
did you?
lazy.
Well, I don't know if they need to know about that. But Keishi has is not being quite as lazy as I have been. He's been working on the edits for Take Three. So
Which has taken 5 months. Well, okay, not 5 months, maybe like 4 months, 3 to 4 months.
yeah, but we won't get into this podcast. But it's been quite an eventful 5 months for you, Keishi, right? So
Yes, I think for the both of us. Actually, more so for you. Yeah, you took a big step in life, which we don't have to go into on the episode. But yeah, in any case, we've been busy, whatever, but we're back.
and
And
one thing that we haven't been too busy to do is stop at our local coffee shops and grab a drink.
yep. So I personally am a slow got into coffee a little bit later than a lot of people. My fiance, I've kind of mentioned throughout on this episode or sorry on this podcast, is a not a coffee connoisseur, but she loves going to cafes and checking out new places whenever she travels or wherever she lives. Um, so for me, growing up, I've only really gone to Starbucks. I was that guy. I had the Starbucks app. That's all I drank.
You had the
But
Starbucks app when you first. That's how you got into to coffee.
no, I mean, I just had I just ordered lattes whenever I wanted coffee, but I didn't really pursue my coffee journey beyond that. I always got the
Mm,
same drink. It was usually the iced Americano, hot latte, or once the nitro coffees came out, was that. But my fiance, because she travels a lot and she's just into coffee, um, he kept on checking out new places, and that's how I got into it. What
yeah,
about
I
you,
don't think.
Phil?
Yeah, I don't think either of us are really coffee connoisseurs per se, but
No,
it is
definitely not.
something that we more often than not go to visit a new place when either of us are in town, right? So last time when I visited you, we stopped by Teofilo Coffee, which is this cool little swanky little Filipino coffee shop. They get all their coffee from the Philippines, and they even for those of you who are listening are like remember Milo, which is like this Filipino like little nutrient drink like for
Milo was
kids.
actually really big in Thailand back in 2019,
Really?
18 or 19. Yeah, it was a really big thing.
No, I learn something new every day. Anyways, they have a Milo latte, Milo themed latte. It tastes just like the Milo drink. It's kind of crazy.
So you are
But
also a very, I guess, new to your coffee journey, if you can call it
well,
that.
I wouldn't say I'm new. I think I've been kind of. It's just been kind of like adjacent to life for me. So I'm actually right
Hmm.
in the stage right now where I'm uh trying to get not necessarily away from coffee, but I'm trying to intake less caffeine, right? So
Hmm.
what something that's popular in New Orleans, for example, is like Cafe Du Monde, like um, half coffee, half chicory blend,
Chicory?
chicory root.
What is that?
So chicory is it's a root, right? So I don't remember what kind of root it's for, but um, in I think war times, what they used to do is they used to in order to expand like the amount of coffee they'd have or like ration it, they'd
Hmm.
supplement it with chicory root, which if you roast, it has a similar taste to coffee.
Hmm.
It just doesn't have the caffeine.
Why don't you just drink decaf?
Well, decaf. So I've been kind of. How do I say this? Uh, so as I'm very I want don't want to sound too like bougie, but I've I've read up a little bit more on like decaf coffees. And a lot so first off, a lot of decaf coffees are super like dark roast, kind of
Hmm.
bitter. So right off the bat, you're kind of limited in your availability of what coffees there are. Like you don't get the wide selection of like non on of wide selection of normal coffee. Like you don't have
Mm,
your light roast, your medium roast, all of these different aromas. You just have kind of these like little blends here and there.
mm,
Additionally, what I learned recently was that most decaf coffee is processed through acetone,
mm.
which is like nail polish remover. At
Yeah,
least that's what
yeah.
I've read. So I'm like, do I want coffee that's processed through acetone? I'm not drinking that stuff. I'm not drinking acetone, so it's kind of weird to me. So I become a little bit more particular about about like what decaffeinated coffee like beverages I drink. So
Mm,
um if I think one of the if they have it, I'll take the water processed decaffeinated coffee.
okay.
Um, but yeah, a lot of times that doesn't really have the same taste as like your again your normal light blends or medium light roasts or medium roasts.
Mm,
Um, and chicory, it has kind of a unique flavor. If you go to like Blue Bottle or even
mm.
Pete's now, they have like their New Orleans style coffee is like regular coffee and chicory in it.
Wait, the blue bottle, the New Orleans and that blue bottle that has chicory in it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah,
With the ice one, right?
yeah, yeah. The New Orleans iced coffee.
Oh, I drink that all the time. I had no clue. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not a coffee connoisseur, so people are gonna roast me on that for not knowing that.
Well, okay, I'm gonna check it too. You're making me second guess.
I don't know, man. I watched a YouTube video. So okay, so I am like reaching that age where I'm trying to look for new hobbies, right? So I started getting into pour over coffee. And if you go to YouTube, there's a lot of videos on how to make coffee. And I thought I watched a video on released by Blue Bottle
Mm-hmm.
on the webpage or their page where they showed you how to make New Orleans at your home. I
Mm-hmm.
know maybe that thing is already in the beans, but I don't recall seeing that process in there.
Wait, the process of what?
The whatever thing you were saying. The word.
Oh, the chicory.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what probably
Fact
uh
check time.
yes, fact check time. Yeah, see if the New Orleans style chicory and coffee. This coffee
So guys, I am holding a magazine called Balance. It highlights many companies and their branding strategy. And I have the blue bottle version. I'll make sure to add the link to the magazine because this series is really cool. It's only in paper though. And I don't recall anything about the chicory. I'm trying to flex on Phil here.
yeah, we're gonna this whole episode is just gonna be us going back and forth on whether or not Blue Bottle New Orleans style coffee has chicory in it or not. So if you go to like their website and you look at the bottles of iced coffee or New Orleans style iced coffee, one of the ingredients is chicory,
Oh, so it's already
and
in the
it's
mix.
yeah, it's stuffed in that organic coffee blend.
Hmm. All right, now there's something new today. I had no clue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it does give it. It's still kind of a at least the a lot of like the Cafe Du Monde chicory. I actually was introduced by chicory or to chicory by my fiance's parents because they've moved away from coffee to chicory, like completely.
And oh, completely. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But it you're never gonna confuse the two, but it has it's close enough to coffee that it's acts as a like a decent substitute.
Hmm.
So that's what I've been trying to do, like just generally kind of get away from caffeine. Um, obviously, most of the drinks that are like good coffee, like more tasty kind of treat coffee drinks, are caffeinated. So I'll drink coffee on occasion, but a lot of times I'll try to steer away from caffeine.
Mm.
But also, I think this goes hand in hand with becoming aware of my own lactose intolerance.
Yeah, me too. It just came with age for some reason.
Yeah, so that's been a reality check where I can't even drink a lot of the treat drinks that it like use like your Starbucks frappe, right? Can't drink
Yeah.
that. Can't enjoy like this blue bottle New Orleans style coffee anymore because it's all like pre-made.
Mm. Oh, you have it worse than I do then.
Well, I mean, I can drink it. It's not gonna give me. I have my own set of symptoms that,
That we will go into
yeah.
obvious reasons.
But
All
yeah,
right.
that's kind of like my journey of coffee, or
Okay.
kind of where I am with coffee. So when did you start drinking coffee again?
Probably when I was in high school. Isn't that like the age when everybody, or at least many Americans, get into coffee? It's like
Probably.
it's like a step into adulthood.
Well, I think,
So, oh, sorry. So I come from, again, like the running community, right?
yeah.
And a lot of the top tier runners, I don't know why it is the way it is, but coffee culture and running culture, there's always been this blend, if I may, in culture, right? So a lot of runners are really into coffee. So when I was like in high school, when I was doing cross country and track and all that, I would this is back when there was not too much social media, but I would read about these runners and they would talk about coffee. So in addition to like the social pressure of having or coffee being like this a way for you to become present yourself as an adult,
Yeah.
um, I've always been, I felt like I had to drink coffee just because of that. A lot of the runners drank coffee.
I mean, coffee, I think, permeates not just running, but it permeates all like cultures. Like the one of the biggest car events that happens, or not specifically one event, but cars and coffee is like a huge thing in at least all of the US. So
Yeah, definitely. Like that Netflix show with,
yeah, Jerry Seinfeld,
yeah,
comedians in cars getting coffee, I think it's
yep,
called.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
coffee is permeated most cultures, I would say.
I don't think I've been to a country where they don't serve coffee.
Well, I'm curious, like how coffee permeated Japan, for example, right? Because at least in China, I don't feel like most people drink coffee really that much. First, and coffee, I feel is like a very Western, like European/Western European thing. Whereas
Yeah,
once you start
definitely.
getting to like India, uh, China, Japan, it's more kind of tea centric.
Yep. I don't know. I mean, I haven't done any research about this. So I may be misspeaking here, but I feel like just along with all the other Western things, or as Western culture kind of moved into Asia, coffee just came with it. You know, I mean, I don't really know too much about this, so I can't. I can only predict.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of consumption of Western media in
Mhm.
Asia as well. And if you watch like the old American Hollywood movies or TV shows, there's always people drinking coffee. So I
Yeah.
think just a natural flow of things.
Mm. Yeah, I've always been kind of curious on how coffee became the primary like morning drink, at least, right?
The best.
So it's interesting you bring that up because like Folgers coffee, like I feel like Folgers coffee nowadays is like, I don't know. I'm probably privileged enough to say that Folgers coffee is garbage, but there's like
I
this
mean,
whole new quote unquote like third wave of coffee, and it's so much better, I would say, like at least tastier.
yeah, third wave coffee is supposed to be like specialty coffee, right? With all the raw beans and unroasted and all that.
I think
Whereas I
it's,
think when you grew up, coffee was
yeah.
just um, instant made coffee.
Well, not. I mean, they still had coffee beans, like coffee grinders and coffee makers were still a thing. I think like chemixes, like pour overs.
Mhm.
Um, I forgot what the other type of the siphon coffee machines.
Mhm.
those I don't think were really too big. I think it was your basic like or mocha pot, right? Your basic like boiled coffee in a kettle and
Yeah.
just strain out the grounds as you pour it into your cup.
While you're talking, I'm having a thing here. I actually spilled my coffee on my mouse. Trying to be really calm because you're talking, but it's chaotic on my desk. Please go
So
ahead.
what is your go-to coffee now though? So you still do you drink coffee in the like in the mornings though? Because I know you actually upgraded recently.
Yeah,
You went
I might be reaching the same stage as you, where I feel like I'm consuming too much coffee.
really and what's
Yeah,
okay, so
Uh,
what made you think that, I
I've
guess?
definitely reached the stage where if I don't consume coffee in a
Hmm.
day,
Hmm.
I just feel like I don't have energy or I get headaches.
Hmm.
And that's, I think, a sign of being addicted to something. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. While I do enjoy drinking coffee, I just try to be mindful of how many cups I drink.
Hmm.
So if I like I get a large coffee from a cafe, then I would try not to drink another cup
The
during the
rest of
same
the day.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, you
And
gotta start getting into decaf coffee now.
and as I say that, I'm drinking my second cup of coffee. So it's it's in the initial stages of being a bit mindful of how much coffee I drink.
It's too easy, right? I feel like it's too easy to drink more coffee.
Kind of.
Like,
If you go to the store, yeah. But if you like me try to be a little bit bougie and do the pour over coffee stuff, it
mhm.
takes time to actually well actually don't have a manual grinder yet. But to grind it, to heat the water and pour it, it is a process. And I think that's why people enjoy it, but it's not as convenient. So that kind of forces me to not drink as much.
Mm, I don't know. I always well, okay, so I got really addicted to coffee in college, right? So
I
that's when I
know.
worked at Dot and Go, right? And that was coffee was like the only quote unquote free drink that was available. Not I don't want to say it was free, but it was the only drink that was available to us as like poor college kids that we really didn't have to pay for.
Mm.
Which in hindsight, that's like a really dangerous thing to feed a kid. Unlimited coffee,
I
like a
mean,
college kid.
when you're in college, it doesn't affect you that much, right?
Well, when you're in college, right, I think the fact that you have access to like unlimited coffee, like you can't drink that. You at least for me, right? I couldn't intake that much coffee, so it didn't hit me. And especially when like I needed, like we were staying up into like until morning a lot of the times, right? Until like 6 a.m. At least that was like 3 a.m., 6 a.m. freshman year, right?
Uh, my parents might listen to this, so no.
So we were staying up pretty late, kind of in college and like
Yeah,
studying
yeah,
for
yeah.
midterms, for example, right?
Yeah,
Getting
midterms.
all the projects in, especially ones that we might have kind of pushed until last minute.
Mhm, mhm.
So like having coffee available to us was just like a luxury that we capitalized on.
Mm.
Whereas nowadays, and I think we got it's like kind of like an all you can eat buffet, right? An all you can eat buffet is not a great thing.
No, unless you're in Vegas.
But even then, you can argue that it's not a great thing.
No, not for your body. No.
Yeah, right. So I think like it's kind of getting out of that mindset, right? So like for me, right? I don't know about for you, but for me, like growing up, I was like, oh, all you can eat buffet. You have to eat how much you have to eat like your worth and how much you paid at
Yeah,
to get
you
into the
always
all you
get the
can
meat
eat, right?
first. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Always go to meet first. Then you get into college and you have like the dorms where you have all you can eat.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So you just get into that mindset. So like for coffee, it's okay, I have to drink coffee and have to be on this constant like grind of caffeine being caffeinated because I need to do all these projects. I have all of these kind of social activities that I need to keep up with as well.
yeah. Mm.
And once you get past like into the working world, you're still kind of like okay, my main source, or you get when you transition to the working world, like your main source of energy, you just are used to that being caffeine.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, how do I get energy? Caffeine. Where do I get my energy and my treat at the same time? Coffee.
Or energy drinks. I sometimes do that too.
I haven't done energy drinks since
College.
college.
Yeah. Energy drinks have too much caffeine. It gives me jitters. So
Well, for me, like energy drinks have too much sugar.
oh yeah, that's well, I mean there's like non-sugar ones they say these days.
I guess, but they're still are there?
No.
Oh, I didn't
I
know
just
that.
yeah, I'm taking my Thai class like in the 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning to be correct. To be accurate. So in the beginning, I didn't have like the life cycle of waking up that early.
Mhm.
So to get through my 2 hour class, I decided to get energy drinks
Mhm.
because if it's coffee, you have to make it like 2 in the morning, right? It's
Well,
gonna
that's
be
when you get
noisy.
the manual grinder, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't have or I don't have that yet. So I went to Target and was looking at the energy drinks, and there
Yeah.
are, I mean, no, yeah, there are energy drinks that are uh, there's no sugar in it,
Do
no sugar added.
no sugar. Okay, so what do they taste like?
It tastes similar. It's like the difference between Coke and Diet Coke. You know the difference, but it's not. Well, usually I don't know if I drink Coke because I like Coke. It's just something that I drink with burgers, right? Or I mean, maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but so I didn't really care too much about the fact that it didn't taste too
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, like so that's this is probably just like my mindset that if something's sweet, it's either because it has a lot of sugar or a lot of things that aren't classified as sugar but should be. Like I think one of the things was like maltodextrin, which is a sugar substitute that isn't sugar, and it's you can put it you can put it on like products that say like no sugar,
Mhm.
but your body treats it as glucose,
Mm.
which is like a substitute, which is what sugar breaks down to, I think. So
Yep.
you're intaking the same amount of sugar for, or the same amount of like kind of sugar, even though it's not sugar.
Anyways, going back to our topic about coffee.
Yeah, sorry, I got sidetracked.
So what was your question?
Well, no, no, that was just like I was just going on this huge rant about how it's too easy to just
To get
get
coffee.
coffee. Like it doesn't. I think
That's
like
right. Yeah.
as someone who sees especially like boba as either something you don't make at home or just kind of like your afternoon drink. Like I feel like I've gone into this phase of needing an afternoon drink.
All right.
And like usually coffee is that, right? So you yourself are on on your second coffee for the day.
Yep.
So and I used to do that a lot, right? I used to have second coffees every day. I probably still have more second coffees in the day than I'm probably at should. But when you start getting off of that, you still feel like you should have some kind of second drink of the day
Mm.
outside of water, right? You should be drinking water throughout the day, but you kind of feel the need to have like a second drink.
Mhm.
And there's not really, when you start exploring the options, at least for me, it didn't seem like there was a great easy option outside of
Tea?
coffee.
Oh, there's also caffeine in it.
Well, tea is kind of interesting because like you to brew tea, that like tea brewing tea is a waiting game. You're talking about coffee as a waiting game. I feel like brewing tea is a waiting game.
Oh, with tea, I just do the bag. So it's like 3 minutes to heat the water up and, you know, just put it in.
Yeah, but even then you can't drink it, right? You have to like sip it.
Oh, well, yeah.
So you don't really kind of like have that like, okay, I'm done with this. It's just kind of like a sip, and then you go and do other things, and then by the time you get back, it's just cold. So all of a sudden you have this like water substitute. I don't know. This is
No,
my
that's just you. That's just
that's
you.
that's probably just me.
And the same thing applies with coffee. So I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
We can do the
Coffee
same thing.
we usually have coffee on like drip or something, right?
Oh, you mean
And
like
it's usually
cold coffee? Like ice coffee? Not cold
no,
coffee.
like hot coffee. Like
Oh,
at the office, we have it on drip, like a big one of those big canisters of coffee.
wow.
Or you have like
Just to show the difference between the place I work and where you work.
you don't have coffee machines at work?
I have like the, what are they called? The K cups?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even when that's brewed, like you pour milk in, and then all of a sudden your coffee is at like that perfect drinkable temperature.
Yeah, no, my point is though, even with hot coffee, you should be sipping it, no? So you don't consume it as fast. Because
Yeah,
that
but
was your excuse for
well, my excuse was that coffee is too easy to get, right, to drink.
yeah, I'm saying like if you have hot coffee, you can't consume it as fast unless you're drinking
Yeah,
mid.
but I just poured milk in it, and all of a sudden back
Oh,
at the place where I want to be at, right?
but you're lactose intolerant, so
Oh,
whatever, make
oat
it
milk
black.
or soy
Oh,
milk or
all right,
almond
all
milk.
right. Okay, okay, you got me.
So I could go on for. I've made this argument in my mind about like why we need to come up with different alternatives to coffee.
For the record, you didn't win though. You didn't
I
win the
know
argument.
I did. It's still a losing battle.
All
But
right, so
yeah,
moving on to I think what people assume we would talk about when we told everybody that we'll be talking about coffee. I just want to talk about maybe two things, and maybe this is really basic or whatever, but the type of coffee drink that you like, and then maybe your favorite or your recommendations for cafes wherever.
so for me, I've recently started liking. Okay, if we're not gonna go on the whole decaf thing, I've recently started liking dirty chais.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good choice.
So and like dirty chai kind of alternatives, right? But dirty chais, I
Mm.
don't know. For me, like I like how chais feel in the mouth and like the throat. Or they just
That
have
could
kind
be
of
taken out of
yeah,
context.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Just like I like cinnamon. I like kind of like it feels more kind of like healthy. I don't know what.
Oh, I get it. I get what you mean.
Yeah. So that's kind of my go-to. So okay, what is your first go-to for a drink?
It's usually just the iced latte with oat milk. So
Any
I'm really
sweetener or
no,
okay?
but I'm glad that oat milk has become the standard at Blue Bottle.
Yeah, I think there was a not a there was a petition to make Starbucks actually not charge extra for alternative milks, soy milk, oat milk.
Yeah, that is my frustration when I get coffee. I had to pay as a lactose intolerant. I had to pay more to get the milk that works with my body. I mean, I get it because it's more it's more expensive for the cafes. So it's I understand why, but it seems like a first world problem, but an issue for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because you think that it'd be cheaper, right?
I don't know.
I
I
don't know,
think it
like
just
a
the process to make it is more expensive, but supposedly more eco-friendly,
yeah,
right?
but if you kind of bring it back to like the animal that you're getting it from, right? So like, am I gonna like a steak versus like oatmeal?
Mhm.
I'm gonna think that the steak is worth more, right?
Oh yeah. I don't know how that how the pricing works, but I just have a beef with having to pay $1 more.
Well, I think oat milk is more is smaller in quantity right now, so I think it's so early on in its adoption that it hasn't really reached marketably equivalent standards as milk.
Hmm. So what are other drinks that you usually get, or
Okay,
maybe
so
drinks that you don't
hot.
usually get but you like to get?
Well, so hot. Okay, so if we're gonna, maybe we'll just um, gosh, drinks that I like but don't like to get. God, I've been on a
So
really big chai kick recently.
so I think this is just an excuse for me to talk about espresso tonics.
Oh yes, let's go on. Let's go on with yours, Keiichi. What do you got?
I don't know what an extra espresso tonic is and how it's made. Um,
Espresso tonic.
yeah, or coffee tonic. So I think we discussed this in CaʒCon Vol.4, but I did go to Thailand for a little bit for
Yeah,
personal reasons.
yeah.
And as a new coffee, not a connoisseur, but a fan of coffee, or in that phase of checking out cafes,
Yeah.
the whole 3 weeks I was there, I was checking out different coffee shops. And one of the first place I went to, if you're ever in Bangkok, it's in the Sukhumvit area. Um, I was looking through the menu, and it was like a local, really small cafe owned
Uh-huh.
by two people. And
Uh-huh.
I had a chat with the owner there. And I asked her, "What do you recommend?" And she said,
Yeah.
"Espresso tonic." So it's an espresso, but there's also
Espresso?
espresso, es-
Espresso.
espresso tonic. Have I been saying espresso?
Yeah.
My bad. Espresso tonic. So it's an espresso. I can't even say it. It's an espresso, but with
Yes.
like uh
Like tonic water,
tonic water, orange.
club soda.
Yeah, maybe. Like I said, I don't know how it's made. I just always see it served with the, and it comes with a slice of orange in it.
Oh, that's weird. Is
And
it,
I
it's a
like,
cold drink, I'm assuming, right?
yeah, it's a cool drink. Maybe if you like gin and tonic, I don't drink alcohol too much, but maybe if you like that, you might like it. But surprisingly, it's really good and refreshing. So you don't get too much of like I guess you do get the flavor of coffee and the smell of coffee, but sometimes depending on where you get it, the tonic is more overpowering.
Hmm.
But I tried it there, and maybe it was because it was new and refreshing. I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. So ever since I've been back, I've been every coffee shop that I go to, I look for it. So if you're in the LA region, there's two spots you can get it: Maru Coffee, and Scope Coffee. Those are two places that serve it, and both places are really good. So I probably didn't do it justice, but if you're looking for a new coffee drink to try out, that's a definite recommendation.
Yeah, I think for me, like the coffee experience, like I think coffee, it's intaking of coffee, and this is kind of what brings me back to the previous um point I made about like drinking coffee is too easy. Is that like coffee itself is intaking coffee for me is like a whole experience.
Mhm.
Like it's not only the coffee, it's I think it's like eating, it's the equivalent of like eating ice cream, right?
Okay.
In the sense of like it's kind of like an enjoyment drink. Or
Hmm.
it's become an enjoyment drink in my own thing. So like I, when you were saying like the coffee tonic, I think experience,
Mhm.
that was
Espresso tonic.
espresso tonic, right? Sorry, apologies. Um, I feel like I equate like bubbly, and this is from a person who doesn't drink like sodas very frequently or at
Hmm.
all. I do dabble in like the sparkling water craze that came up recently. So like your LaCroix, Waterloos, Polars. Um,
Such
but
a
like
Bay Area bougie. Or that's so California.
it is
Well,
very
actually not really. Maybe it's a trend across the states, but yeah.
it's big in the startups for sure. Uh, but I think the like when you put coffee in that arena, it doesn't like when I drink though like the sparkling waters, it's a completely different experience. And I
Mm.
don't know how that experience interacts with like the coffee experience. So I'll have to give that one a try, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. No, it's not. It's definitely not for everybody. So I did look it up.
Yes.
Well, and according to this website, I don't know who wrote it, if it or if it's credible, but I keep on saying espresso. I don't know why. Espresso tonic tastes like a light citrusy soda. While the coffee flavor is extremely subtle. I'd agree with that, and adds a bitterness that completes the tonic, that complements the tonic water. Simple
Mm.
syrup brightens the drink and adds a delightful sweetness that brings all the flavors together. So it's definitely not a winter autumn drink. It's more like a summer drink, and it really goes well with the humidity and the hotness that you experience in uh, Bangkok. But yeah, not for everybody. So if you're willing to try something out, try out something new, maybe. But if you're like a coffee purist, maybe not.
Do you like orange chocolate or chocolate orange? I don't know what the proper way. Like, you know how there's like
Yeah,
chocolate.
I do,
You
but
do?
not,
Okay.
but not. It's like it's like your ice cream. It's not something that I want all the time.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
I go to Godiva, or if I get like somebody sends me Godiva or something, it's in there,
yeah,
and like, and you kind of get tired of like the dark chocolate and milk chocolates, so you want to change it up, and then I eat it and I
yeah.
enjoy it. It's kind of like that, yeah.
Okay. I my I was at my parents the other day, and they had this variety of chocolate, and I was
Mm.
for the longest time trying to find like a normal chocolate or like a vanilla chocolate or a nuts chocolate.
Uh-huh.
But all they had was like lime chocolate, orange chocolate.
Lime.
Yeah. So I ended up going with the lime because that was the closest. It's like vanilla lime chocolate. So I was like, okay, maybe the lime won't be as uh as kind of the front the featured artist of that little morsel. But man, that was definitely, you could not taste
Chocolate.
anything but that lime, or like you could not ignore the lime in that piece of chocolate.
Yeah, citrus is overpowering, I think. That's why if you go to fine dining,
Mhm.
they like give you like the grinded thing.
Yeah, what is the term for that?
It's like it just complements the main dish. I mean, I don't know anything about fine dining, so
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
the grated
Yeah, yeah,
orange
yeah.
pear
There's a this
pear.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
not
think of
puree.
the
It's
puree.
yeah, I that's gonna bug me. I can't think of that word. But yeah, I understand, that makes sense. So I'm trying to think if there's anything that I have come across that has a similar specialty to that. I can't
If you don't,
I
that's
can't
fine.
I mean, I
Uh,
can't say that I have. I feel like I just kind of uh I mean, so in Thailand I had coffee tea, which they
oh
don't
yeah, yeah, yeah.
which they don't have. They have, I think, in one cafe up here in the Bay Area, but really I haven't seen it since when I tried it in Thailand, and that was actually like really good because it still had like kind of the flavor notes of coffee,
Mhm.
but it was very similar to tea in kind of how it tasted, how it went down, how you like drank it. And it's very different from like pouring extra water and diluting coffee. So I've tried that.
Mm.
It's not the same. Coffee tea is completely different. But yeah, that would probably be the only other uh, or equivalent to, or like the equivalent of has like that uniqueness as the coffee tonic or espresso tonic. Ironically, both of those are from Thailand.
Well, no, I don't think the espresso lasagna is from Thailand. I just had my first drink in Thailand,
Yeah,
but the coffee tea I think is an Asia. Well, actually, I don't know if it's Thailand thing. It's not coffee leaf tea. It's coffee tea.
I think it might be coffee cherry tea. Yeah, I think it's coffee cherry tea.
Coffee cherry, according to Wikipedia, coffee cherry tea is a herbal tea made from the dried skins of the coffee fruit. Huh, interesting. So it's not even like coffee beans. It's just tea made of coffee
Yeah,
fruit.
yeah. But it did taste kind of similar to coffee, like roast coffee.
Oh, it says here, and I don't know if this is accurate, but uh, coffee cherry tea is a common drink in some coffee growing nations, notably Bolivia, as well as in Yemen and Somalia.
That I did not know.
Huh. Maybe I'll try it out, or look for a place down here in
Yeah,
SoCal.
I don't know where one of our mutual friends showed me a place that was opening up in the Bay Area that had it, but I haven't really seen it since like that trip that I made, or that trip that we made to Thailand.
Oh, Starbucks and Blue Ball have it, but it's called something different. It's called the I don't even know how to pronounce this. Cascara latte, Cascara fizz, respectively.
Oh, but it's a what you call it? It's a Cusco coconut milk cascara latte. I don't know. Well, this I don't know if this is it. Cascara sugar.
That's sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Wikipedia. I don't know how accurate this is. I'm just reading it off of. That's not me. Okay. So maybe end this podcast with a recommendation. Always gotta support the local small businesses, right? Do you have any beyond or other than the?
Teofilo.
Do you have any other places that you want to recommend? Or okay, if I'm back in the Bay Area, which hasn't happened for a while, we're planning it. Which place should I hit up?
Oh man, that's difficult.
Maybe I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you're putting me on the spot. Because like a lot of there's not I don't want to say there's that many on the peninsula. There's a lot in San Francisco, like I think Anderson Coffee. It depends. So I think there's a lot of good shops that sell coffee. Obviously, like
Mhm.
Verve is a great big is great, but they're pretty big. They're all over the West Coast now. Phil's you've obviously heard. I think most of the
Mhm.
shops in the Bay Area are kind of along those lines.
Yep.
Um, there is a shop on in the Sunset on Noriega, Henry's House of Coffee. That's kind of been there for a really long time.
Mhm.
I think it's gone through a couple of owners, but that don't quote me on that. But that's kind of like a nice little shop. The other, it's got a good like place amount of places to sit. It's not going to be like your huge Starbucks,
Mhm.
but it's nice little quaint shop. They have like a roaster that like right next to the counter, or right next to kind of like the order shop. So they roast their beans in house, kind of like an old traditional roaster. So you get to see it. You definitely get that aroma if you like that. So I recommend going there. Home coffee roasters or home coffee is another great place. So yes, I would recommend too. Henry's House and Home. Home has a lot more of kind of like boutique style coffee drinks.
Mhm.
Like I think they have one after that they nicknamed after Lucky Charms.
The cereal.
Yeah, so it's a little bit. It's like those are more kind of like your treat drinks, like your
Mhm.
Starbucks S drinks, but they obviously they're unique to uh, that little cafe. They're quite popular. They have two locations. One of them's in the Sunset. I don't remember the second one is. I think it might be in Richmond, in San Francisco. Also on Noriega. Um, They do have two sets of tables inside, which is kind of cool. One side is like if you want to have a cafe. The other side is like a no computers area, just for like for people to hang out, which think is kind of
Mm,
cool.
it does sound like the Starbucks roasters shops. Have you been to those?
Yes. They don't have like they don't have their roaster visible though, so I don't know if they actually roast in there.
I mean,
Um,
the vibe, like the roasters are more so for not coffee connoisseurs, but people who are there to like drink, enjoy coffee. Whereas like the usual Starbucks is just a cafe for you to hang out and chill.
hmm. In the Bay Area, they have a lot of shops like that. Like Cyclass actually doesn't allow. I think it's Cyclass. Either Cyclass or 4 Barrel Coffee. They don't allow like computers or Wi-Fi use.
Mhm. Maybe that's where all the trends coming from.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you guys are like the trendsetters in different settings, different cultures.
Maybe. Yeah. There's a series that makes fun of our whole area, so we'll see
A TV
how.
show?
Well, Silicon Valley.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorite shows.
Yes. Okay. Your turn though, Casey. What are a couple places that you recommend?
As I said, small business, I regretted it because a lot of places I go to are not small businesses.
Right?
Like Blue Bottle was bought by Nestle, right? So it's not even a small business anymore.
I think they
Um,
divested actually.
oh,
But
already?
don't quote me on that. Um,
Oh.
Also, sorry, one more thing about home roasters. They have really good like brick toast
Hmm.
and just like toast, like even savory toasts. So if you're hungry, they have you can probably satiate any type of like quick, you can get like a quick bite there.
Okay. So
But
for
sorry, yeah.
oh no problem. For me, it's not a well. I'll just share one that I kind of go to a lot these days.
Hmm.
They're called Offset Coffee. So they're Offset Coffee.
Oh yeah.
So they
I've been
have
there.
you been there? Yeah, there's two spots now. One in El
Hmm.
Segundo along PCH,
Hmm.
and there's another one in Torrance, uh, near. Well, it's in
Centaurs.
whatever. It's in Torrance. I don't know. I just found the place because I was looking for more small business cafes just to support them.
Hmm.
Or maybe you recommended it to me. I forget.
I might
I
have.
think, yeah, I
I've
think it
been
was
to a lot
you.
of places. Yeah.
Phil actually knows a lot more places to eat in my area than I do, even though I actually live here. So he's always the one that's looping me in all the cool spots. But anyways, yes, I usually when I go there, I just usually get the iced latte with oat milk, pretty simple. I've tried the horchatas though; those are pretty good.
Hmm.
I do get them occasionally. I don't really know too much about the business, but I just go there. So if you're in the area, please check them out. The baristas there are really nice. So,
You're right.
but if you're in Asia, and this is not a small business, it's a pretty big operation. But Arabica coffee from the Arabica beans, um, they're pretty big. So in Japan, Kyoto has a really big coffee scene.
Mm.
And I think, and I'm not a coffee connoisseur, so I might be getting my facts wrong, but I do feel like all of the trends in Asia are coming out of Kyoto.
Hmm.
And one of them that's really famous right now is Arabica coffee. And actually, the first one I've been to was in Shanghai.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, my fiance took me there because back then they didn't have one in Bangkok. Now they do. So she wanted to try it out. So we went there. Um, Coffee is obviously good, great. Usually not all the spots, but usually they have the roasters there too.
Hmm.
So it's it's how in house. Everything is in house. Um, but the vibe is different depending on the shop. So the and I'm also kind of into interior design. So these are the things I kind of care about. Maybe it's not related to coffee, but the one that I went in Shanghai was a small shop and it had like a very IKEA-esque, what's the word I'm looking for? It's okay, you don't have to look it up. So the color scheme is really simple. It's just like
Scandinavian design.
Scandinavian design. Thank you very much. And that sounded sarcastic for some reason. I really appreciate you looking that up. So they have like the big wood and like white decors in there.
Hmm.
So it's a simple design. Whereas the one they recently opened in Bangkok, there's a big mall that they just opened a few years ago. It's more modern design and marbles and only white colors and yeah. So depending on which place you go to, hopefully you get the same flavor coffee, but the interior design is different. So if you're like an Instagrammer influencer who likes taking photos at the cafes, definite recommend.
That's like Phil's here too, then, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, actually, I mean that's like any big
I no Pete. I mean, you say that, but I think like Pete's Coffee. Pete's Coffee is very uniform throughout the different Pete's locations. I think
oh, really?
Starbucks is pretty uniform as well.
Oh, that's
Same
true.
with Blue
That's true.
Bottle. Blue Bottles has a very same vibe, regardless of
Yeah,
the
it
store
does
you go
have
to.
a similar vibe to Blue Bottle. It's just that they don't use that blue, sky blue color as an accent.
But when you say
It's
same vibe, all the stores have the same vibe, or
oh no 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 sorry. So the shop or the cafe in Shanghai, and a few of the spots in Bangkok have a similar vibe to Blue Bottle.
okay, okay,
Yeah, but I think that's like the trend.
yeah, just like that clean, like simple wood
Yeah,
and white.
I watch a lot of YouTube vloggers that show introduce or talk about interior design
Hmm.
or people who vlog their daily lives.
Hmm.
And I've noticed that it's usually that Scandinavian type of design.
Yeah,
So
that's the trend right now, I think.
yeah, IKEA's doing it really well. Their business model is really good. They've made a, I mean, they've never gone away, but they're making a pretty big comeback.
Yeah, well, they know. I know that it's yeah, their business models. They have a good business model. So,
Hmm, like that
but
too.
don't be afraid for those of you listening to go to like
Starbucks.
secondhand
Oh,
or, or furniture stores.
oh yeah, of course. But yeah, that's all we
Yeah,
had for this episode.
in case you got tired of me ranting. So
No, no, no. So do you want me? Do you want to close it out?
yeah, so thanks for joining us today while we kind of talked about coffee and coffee tangent topics. Um, as we mentioned in previous episodes, we are working towards our next season, but want to get you some little morsels to snack on while you wait for the next full season.
Yeah, and Phil, like always says, it's the best way to get to know us, talking about random stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're not into coffee, maybe you will into get coffee. If you maybe you will get into coffee and go through the same phases and eventually get
Into all of the alternatives like chicory and coffee
chicory.
cascara.
Yeah, and then you'll understand why we've had that conversation. But
But
that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
later.
Oh, check out our social media.
Yes, especially our Instagram. Casey's been putting up some dope prints. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe.
In our
And
WordPress, well, we haven't really updated our WordPress. We'll work on that, but
we'll work on it. That's on
you can
me.
check
That's
it out
on
if you
me.
want.
All right. We will wrap things up. Casual Contemplation Podcast. That's our handle on Instagram and on WordPress. So please feel free to check those out.
Peace.
Later.